Would have been a shame and a waste if they'd have killed her. She was prettier in a pair of pink shoes. Yes, sir. Still in all, she was a murderer.
She was not a murderess. Mrs. Allen killed in self-defense. Her husband gave her no choice.
You didn't believe that story of hers, how she blanked out and couldn't remember? Then whopped him with an axe 6 times?
The point is, Culhane, her bruises were real, not self-inflicted. She had motivation. Now, when you've studied law for a while, you'll find the truth recognizable. Not so with a lie. A lie is sophistry.
What?
Sophistry. Clever, but misleading. Evadable. Complicated, but always disputable. But the truth is pure. It has simplicity, clarity, substance. And the truth is, Culhane, I have never known a man whose head is turned quite so quickly.
Yes, sir. If you'll excuse me, Mr. Dundee.
Of course.
I hope you don't mind.
Not a bit.
Stop that noise. Lie down. I'll see your $5 bet, little brother, and raise you 50. Too much for you? That's what it's gonna cost you to stay.
I see some spirit, Henry. Show Big Brother you ain't as scared of him.
It was a friendly game, amigo. Now you go for sangre.
When you play with Duncan Taylor, that's the name of the game, Blood. Blood poker.
Are you going to be much longer, honey? You need your rest.
Game's almost over, sweetie.
Will you hurry? I'm missing you.
Last hand, I promise. You run along back now. I'll be with you shortly.
I'll be there.
Well, are you in or out?
You know I don't have that kind of money.
You have a gold watch, haven't you?
The watch Paul gave me when he died. I couldn't bet it.
He gave it to you only because he knew you didn't know the time of day. Well, how about it? And the money. It's all or nothing. How about you, amigo?
Got $20 and a cross of gold.
Enough. Have you got anything worth $50, Irish?
A deed to a piece of land. Are we not made to listen to the land and watch it live? It's worth $500.
I've listened and watched plenty. $50. Humor me, little brother. Show yours first.
3 deuces, pair of sixes.
Kings over full.
The only beauty I would add, 'twould be to make them green. 4 aces, lads.
A straight, hard flush to the 10.
Drinking and sleeping go together when you hunt cover, partner.
Boss.
Mr. Taylor? Duncan's dead. Somebody shot him. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Duncan's been killed.
Duncan's dead? Are you sure?
Somebody's killed your brother.
What are we gonna do?
Find out who did it.
How?
We start with the Irishman, then the Mexican.
Now come along, lads. Would you have me murdering men now? Slow enough to be penniless, landless, and friendless in this wild country of yours?
I'm gonna search you. Because whoever killed Duncan robbed him.
Robbing too, is it? Next you'll have me burning the flag.
Then you won't mind if I search you.
Go at him.
Let go! It's my watch.
I didn't kill Duncan. I found that money and the watch.
Pete, what are you gonna do with them now?
The same as he did for Duncan.
Practicing law must be exciting, Mr. Culhane.
Oh, not to boast, ma'am, but it has its moments. For instance, in my last trial, I defended a woman who chopped on her husband with a 10-pound wood axe. We got her acquitted, too.
Oh, we?
That's my law partner, Mr. Dundee.
It's a comfort, Culhane, to hear my name mentioned at long last. I was beginning to fear that you dissolved the association.
Mr. Dundee.
Mr. Scruggs.
This is an unexpected pleasure.
The pleasure is entirely mine. Won't you join me?
Thank you.
Well, it must be a very important case to bring the illustrious Jeremiah Scruggs west.
Indeed it is. Asthma won a clear-cut verdict.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Still, this land is dry. Sometimes too dry. It's splendid for asthma.
I hope so. I've given up my practice in Boston, retiring.
Would you care for some tea?
Oh, coffee will be sufficient, thank you.
Well, the law's going to miss you.
Thanks.
In your 40-odd years before the bar, you must have argued and discussed cases with some of the most brilliant legal minds this country's ever produced. Men like Hardwood, Theolonius, Webster, John Hawkins.
But never you. I read about the Allen case. You know, you were lucky to win it.
Lucky?
The prosecution were guilty of gross negligence.
Yeah, I seem to remember a case. Allen versus Smith. You won by reason of self-defense.
No similarity in the two cases.
Well, the only dissimilar fact was the murder weapon.
If I'd been the prosecutor in the Allen case, you would have lost.
And if I'd been prosecuting the Smith case, you would have lost.
You presume to be in my class, Dundee?
Why are we stopping?
Someone's been killed and his friend has stopped the train so he can hang the one who done it.
Louis Dugan.
Culhane.
You know that young man, Dundee?
He's my law partner. Hasn't he got a lovely clout?
Aren't you going to help him?
Well, to Culhane? No, certainly not. He's marvelous at this sort of thing. Watch.
We watch.
What do we do with this one?
They've rubbed enough or two.
It's a regular. Most irregular. Thank you. You can't hang that man.
Why?
Because, young man, that young man is my associate.
Thank you, Mr. Dundee. I was beginning to think that you dissolved the association.
Who are you?
Sir, are you in charge of this lynching?
This what?
I'd be the last to dignify this with the term execution. Culhane's committed no crime. I demand that you release him.
He ain't in it with the other one. Why'd he try to stop us?
Culhane intervened because of his respect for justice. Now, even if you're all sure this man is guilty, he is guaranteed by law the right to a fair and just trial. Furthermore, any man taking part in this lynching is himself guilty of murder, and he shall pay the penalty the moment this train arrives at the next civilized way stop.
You talk of guarantees, of rights. The truth is, Duncan Taylor is dead, and he killed him. You want Duncan to get his justice.
Mr. Dundee and I, Jeremiah Scrubs, are lawyers, officers of the court. And I believe I have a solution that will satisfy all. I propose we have a trial.
A trial?
Yes, aboard the train. I've retired, but as my last legal act, I'd like to sanctify this occasion. Are you game, Mr. Dundee?
Dead game, Mr. Scrubs. By all means, let us sanctify this occasion with a trial. It will prove entertaining for weary passengers and enlightening for a presumptuous counselor. Untie. Why did you interfere?
Louis Dugan's a friend of mine.
Culhane, if I've said it once, your friends will be the death of me.
You all figured you'd be safer locked in here.
And it's fair appreciative I am, Dennis. This beats a rope and owning the neck of an ostrich.
It's a small world, Louis. Last time I saw you, you were headed for the other side of it.
I went back to Ireland to be with my mother in her last hours.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All beauty's made to die.
What brought you back, Louis?
Dennis, you see, a man always has two reasons for doing something. A good reason and a real reason. The good reason is, I love your vast and brawling land. The real reason is, surely it was created by the devil with a twinkle in his eye. And surely I was created to go to the devil. My little plot of land. It's all that's left in the family, Dennis. Saved penny by penny. Callous by callous.
And you risk it in a poker game.
He had a straight flush. Have you ever seen a straight flush, Dennis? I've never. It's heaven and beyond.
Who do you think killed him, Louis?
Who knows? He had Padilha's crucifix, his heart. Duncan was a bully, an infuriating man. He ragged Brother Henry without mercy or truce.
Henry was the one I was thinking about.
He's too much of a coward to kill.
How about you, Louis?
I love this life, Dennis. The greatest of all crimes is to deny it to anyone.
I'll be back to you later.
I'll be here reading the mail.
But as the person responsible for this car, as a captain is responsible for his ship at sea, Mr. Scrubs and I suggest it is your duty to act as judge.
But I don't know anything about law.
But Mr. Dundee and I do, and we'll help you when necessary.
Oh, yes, sir?
Please sit down.
Yes, sir.
As to our positions, Mr. Dundee, shall we settle it the only fair way?
Tails.
Heads. I elect to prosecute.
Oh, we seem to have some empty chairs among the jury.
No one wants to serve.
Well, I can understand that. Your friend Louis Dugan hasn't exactly made himself popular.
I know it doesn't look good for him, but I would bet my life on his innocence.
Now, that's small comfort. Now, if you'll just find me a jury, we can commence.
Just like that.
Just like that, Culhane, is where your genius lies.
Excuse me.
You're the detective. They always send a detective on your lope.
No, I am.
You just tell my daddy that Johnny's got plenty of money. Plenty. Right, Johnny? And he's just smarter than a tree full of owls. And anyway, none of it matters. We're married.
Now, hold on a minute. I'm not a detective, and your daddy didn't send me, and I need just 2 more people to fill out a jury, and...
Here? On a train?
You're on a train. How about it?
It's better than sitting here alone. I swear, you're the first living being been here all night.
Court is waiting.
What's it pay?
It's voluntary.
Oh.
That's really nice of you. Seeing as how you just seen a justice of the peace, you might want to see a little peaceful justice. Right this way.
Well, Dundee, as soon as the jury assembles, then the disassembling takes place.
It's rather like a game of chess, Jeremiah.
I must remind you, I can be pretty cunning, too.
The greatest cunning, however, is to have none at all.
Matter of opinion. But the opinion that matters, Dundee, is that 3 things in life have their own way. A mule, a lion, and a Boston lawyer.
Oh, that's interesting. I've always heard that a Boston lawyer is rather like a dog walking on its hind legs. It's not done well. One is amazed to see it done at all.
Well, a Boston lawyer talks because he's got something to say, whereas a British lawyer talks because he's got to say something. Now, you're going to commit suicide in that court.
If I were, I should be going to a country where I'm not known. Not to the devil where I am.
You, sir, are at best merely a sarcasm.
Well, we shall see. Meanwhile, checkmate. Mate.
Thank you very much, Billy May. Most helpful.
Why don't they get on with it?
You don't have enough to make a jury. I wonder why.
We should have hanged him when we had the chance.
You hear those lawyers? If we had lynched them, it'd be a standing trial.
Don't worry, we'll hang him. Legal and proper.
I heard tell of this Dundee. He's one smart hombre. He could win.
Not against Jeremiah Scrub.
He's good.
The best ever.
That's all there is, Mr. Dundee. And the truth. A man in love with truth need be neither great nor a poet, for he is both without trying.
Very beautifully put, Mr. Dugan. Now, when the game was over, you went to the observation car, and you stayed there for 15 or 20 minutes.
With the beauty that fair owned your heart.
On your way back to the smoking car, you found Duncan Taylor dead.
Yes, sir.
And you robbed him.
I have no real needs but laughter. In purgatory we shall not be able to, and in heaven it would be improper.
Well, I finally got him. Right this way, folks. Just,
Well done, Culhane. Well done.
Thank you. Any seat that you find convenient.
Splendid.
That's great.
Is that the lot?
You going?
The lot?
That's it.
Well, Mr. Dundee, is the defense ready?
Yes, Mr. Scrubs, we are ready.
Mr. Dundee, I was wondering if you'd care to wager a small sum on the outcome of this trial.
Well, how small a sum?
Say $200?
All right, Mr. Scrubs. Let's say $200.
What did Mr. Scrubs want?
Small wager.
How small?
$200.
That's $150 more than we've got.
Culhane, if we lose this case, our loss will be relatively small compared to Mr. Dugan's.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a crime has been committed. The worst of all possible crimes. Murder. The prosecution will prove beyond any reasonable doubt that Louis Dugan killed Duncan Taylor, willfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and without provocation. As I was about to say, the prosecution will further prove that after killing Duncan Taylor, Louis Dugan committed a most despicable theft. He robbed a dead man. Checkmate?
I think you've got your work cut out for you. He has them in the palm of his hand.
Then prepare for some sleight of that hand, Culhane.
Mr. Dundee, you reckon we can have your opening remarks?
Reckon you can, Your Honor. Louis Dugan is accused of murdering one Duncan Taylor. It becomes my duty as defense attorney to defend him. Now, I don't have to prove him innocent. Rather, the prosecution must prove, as my learned friend has just stated, Mr. Dugan's guilt beyond any reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt. Now, the understanding of the phrase reasonable doubt is quite simple. It means the fact that doesn't appear to be the fact to you. Questions unanswered. A testimony that seems confused or conflicting. Any and all of these are reasons for reasonable doubt.
Mr. Dundee, what do we do next?
Prosecution has to call the first witness, Your Honor.
Yes.
And the forum was gambling, what you'd call a friendly game of poker. And Duncan was winning and playing him wild. He ups the ante to $50. Well, the others didn't like it none, but they went along. And then she comes in. She talks to Duncan. As soon as she leaves, Duncan comes back to the table and wants to know who's called.
Then what happened?
The others didn't have $50. So Duncan lets them bet whatever else they got.
Kindly tell the court how much each man wagered.
Well, Henry bet his gold watch.
Your Honor, this gold watch was found on the person of the accused, Louis Dugan, after the murder. It is the watch bet by Henry Taylor in the poker game. The prosecution is placing it in evidence.
Jesus Padilla put a gold cross in the pot.
By cross, do you mean crucifix?
Yeah. I guess you might call it that.
Now, what did Louis Dugan wager?
A deed to a piece of land.
Exhibit 2, Your Honor, also found on the person of the accused. Then, what took place?
Duncan won the hand, took the pot, and left.
And that was the last time that you saw Duncan Taylor. That was the last time you saw Duncan Taylor alive?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. Your witness, Mr. Dundee.
Mr. Carson, you like to play poker?
Sure.
Then why weren't you in the game?
I stopped playing cards with Duncan Taylor a long time ago.
Did he cheat?
No.
Then why weren't you playing?
Well, I didn't have that kind of money.
But surely, as foreman of a large ranch, you were very well paid, is that not right?
The best.
But though you had the money, you still chose not to play.
Well, no.
You wouldn't play a friendly game of poker with him.
Objection, Your Honor. Whether or not the witness would play a friendly game of poker with Duncan Taylor is quite irrelevant to the matter before this court.
You got anything to say about that, Mr. Dundee?
Yes, Your Honor. This line of questioning is very important if I am to recreate the true flavor of that game.
Well, you go right ahead then, Mr. Dundee.
Now, Mr. Carson, what were they playing for before that last raise?
$1.
$1. Now, would you say the raising of the ante from $1 to $2 friendly?
Sure.
And from $1 to $5?
Yeah?
Uh-huh. And from $1 to $50 friendly?
No.
Am I accurate in saying, Mr. Carson, that this was not a friendly game of poker?
What are you getting at?
Didn't Duncan Taylor himself say it was blood poker? What I'm getting at, Mr. Carson, is that every man in that game was provoked by Duncan Taylor. Therefore, whoever killed him did it with provocation.
Which is not the same thing, ladies and gentlemen, as justification.
Finished with this witness, thank you, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry.
Then I told him I was lonely, missing him. He said it would be his last hand, and for me to go back and wait for him. I never saw him alive again.
I'm sorry I have to ask you these questions, Billy May. The loss of a brother is a great loss. The loss of one's only brother and kin is a tragedy. The court feels for you, Mr. Taylor, in your tragic loss.
Thank you, sir.
One last question. When the poker game was over, did any of the players leave?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell the court who?
All of us.
Including Louis Dugan?
Yes.
No more questions.
Mr. Dundee, you want to cross-examine the witness? Ask him some questions or something?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Taylor, I will be brief and to the point. Did you love your brother? I don't think you quite heard me, Mr. Taylor. I will repeat the question. Did you love your brother, Duncan Taylor?
I object, Your Honor, to the line of questions Mr. Dundee is using. Of course, Henry loved his brother.
If it is true, Your Honor, let the witness say so himself.
Is that true, sir? No.
I didn't quite hear that, Mr. Taylor. Would you be kind enough to speak a little louder?
No.
Well, why didn't you love your brother? Was he loving? Considerate? I'm trying to help you, Mr. Taylor. Now, let's try another tack. Did you despise him? Loathe him? Did you hate your brother?
Yes! I hated him. I hated him for all the low, mean, dirty things he did to me. He was selfish, cruel, brutal. He found pleasure in breaking people, humiliating them. Everything I ever had, he took away from me. The ranch, Billy May.
Mr. Taylor, did Duncan take Billy May Noble away from you?
Yes. Yes. I knew her first. We even talked about marriage. And Duncan saw her, wanted her, took her.
Thank you, Henry. That's all.
I hated my brother, Mr. Dundee. There were times when I wanted to kill him, but I didn't.
There was a fine bit of cross-examining.
Thank you.
We are winning, aren't we?
There are times, Culhane, when to win is to lose.
Mr. Scrubs, ain't you got no more witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. One more. The prosecution would like to call as last witness Jesus Padilla.
Your Honor, in the interest of the court, would you have the witness remove his gun? He has a reputation, sir.
Jesus, would you unbuckle your gun?
Only when I'm dead.
We're gonna be stopping here for 20 minutes to take on water. Don't you think we ought to recess?
That's a splendid idea, my lad.
We have got to stop this trial.
Why?
Because Dundee is winning. If the Irishman goes free, they will come after you or me for the murder of your brother.
Oh, he's right.
How are you going to stop the trial?
We get rid of the lawyers.
Wearing your gun.
I always do when we're in court.
Good. You're going to have need of it shortly.
Get shot.
You don't want to try this game?
You're so good at this, I wonder why you bother with the law at all.
To get me out of the trouble I get into by being so good at this.
Hope you haven't killed him. Could be an important witness.
Just wounded him in the arm. Mr. Dundee, look at this.
A very important witness.
Mr. Padilla, how much did you lose in the game?
Oh, $80, $90.
Can you be more specific? Was it 80 or 90?
90.
And a gold crucifix, huh?
Yes.
Did anybody else have as much at stake in the game as Louis Dugan?
No.
I object, Your Honor. No set value has been fixed on the items wagered.
That's right, Mr. Scrubs.
Would the bench instruct the jury to disregard Mr. Scrubbs' last question and answer?
Would you folks not pay attention to what Mr. Scrubs said and answer by Jesus?
Did Louis Dugan say how much his land deed was worth?
Yes.
Well, would you tell the court?
He said it was worth $500.
Was it really worth that much?
It was.
And you gambled it away in a hand of cards?
With 4 aces, Culhane, I'd bet the Emerald Island throw in Scotland.
Could we have a little more quiet, please?
Sorry.
How much would you say the crucifix that you lost was worth?
I don't know.
You must have some idea.
Your Honor, I object to Counselor trying to fix a price on a religious relic. Its value cannot possibly be assessed in dollars and cents.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Dundee. I withdraw the question. No more questions for this witness.
Is the arm quite comfortable, Mr. Padilla? Mr. Padilla, have you ever killed a man? May I remind you, Mr. Padilla, that you are under oath. You have sworn on the Bible to tell the truth. You are a religious man? Have you ever killed a man?
Yes.
More than one? Your Honor, my worthy opponent has placed 2 articles from that poker game in evidence. There was a third, a gold crucifix. Excuse me. Exhibit number 3. Found on the person of Jesus Padilla. Jesus? How did you get that crucifix back?
I found it
Where?
on the platform,
Where Duncan Taylor's body was found?
but I didn't kill him.
You killed before,
Yes?
and Duncan provoked you.
Yes.
Humiliated you, and you killed him.
No! I wanted to kill him. I would have killed him. But when I found him, he was dead. Lo juro por mi madre. Yo no lo maté.
No more questions.
Did you find it?
Yes.
That was the last witness for the prosecution. Do we have any?
One.
I realized it was a lot of money, but I didn't think about it at the time. I had a fine hand, and I was fair certain to win.
Where did you go after the game was over?
To the observation car.
And how long were you there?
15, 20 minutes.
Did you see Duncan Taylor after the game?
I did.
When?
I was returning from the observation car.
Was he alive?
No, sir.
And that was when you robbed him?
It seemed of no evil considering the conditions.
That'll be all. No more questions. Your witness, Mr. Scrubs.
Mr. Dugan, you stated that after the game was over, you went to the observation car.
Yes, sir.
Why did you go there?
To think. Meditate.
Are you in the habit of meditating?
Thinking is the talking of the soul to itself, sir.
Mr. Dugan, I don't think you're telling this court the truth, and I'll tell you why. You say you're a thinker in the habit of meditating. And yet, in a $50 card game, you wagered a piece of land that was worth 10 times the bet. Now, do you call that good thinking?
You might say God gives us a brain, but he doesn't guarantee it.
So you bet on an impulse?
What was the word?
A methodical man.
Sophist.
Act on it.
Sophistry.
Think,
The Forbes, the young couple who were running away from home.
Yeah?
They were in the observation car. I wonder why Louis didn't see them.
Shot him in cold blood. Nothing more to say to this witness. The prosecution rests.
Your Honor, may I ask the defendant a question? How long would it take a man like yourself to save $500?
8 years. 3 months. 4 days.
Then I should say Mr. Dugan's loss was sufficient cause for a great deal of meditation. Astonishing, isn't it?
A desert?
And to think we simply sweep across it. And to think still further, man's vehicular motivation has hardly commenced. One day he will fly through the air and sail beneath the seas. I can feel it in my bones.
Maybe your bones could be serious for a moment and tell me what our chances are. That's my friend in there and a lot of money.
Yes, and perhaps pop in on some of those very stars up there in the sky.
Mr. Dundee, be serious as a favor.
There's habitation up there. It can't all be for nothing. I can
Please.
feel... I shouldn't worry too much if I were you, Culhane. Jeremiah's a natural reformer. It's a mistake. It's only necessary for society to make reforms when each of us cannot reform himself.
Who said that?
A very dear friend,
Who?
John Drummond Dundee.
Ma'am, y'all hurry up around me, ma'am. Come on, fellas. Come on, y'all, ma'am. Get right over there, ma'am. Hurry up, fellas. Mr. Dundee, what happened now?
Your Honor, it's customary for the defendant to rise and face the jury when the verdict is read.
Louis, do you mind standing up in front of the folks? Well, what'd you come up with?
We find Mr. Dugan not guilty because of reasonable doubt.
I'm free, Dennis! I'm free!
Play a free man.
Checkmate, Jeremiah.
Dundee, brilliant defense.
A valiant prosecution.
I'll wager.
Thank you.
You're as good as the best.
Thank you.
Free man, Louis.
Thank you, Mr. Dundee. You've saved my life.
I may have won you a stay of execution, but I haven't saved your life.
What are you saying?
Your friend Louis Dugan will be tried again for the murder of Duncan Taylor, found guilty, and hanged. Yes, you killed him. And you'll be tried again by a legal court of law. You brought up a question during the trial, Culhane. Why indeed didn't Louis Dugan see the Forbes on the observation platform and vice versa? Because he was never there. Your testimony was the only one that lacked simplicity. It was as you put it, Culhane. Sophistry.
Stay there.
I risked my life in Mr. Dundee's and all the time you were guilty. And my friend.
And life without a friend is death without a witness.
Duncan was all those things Henry said he was. But I loved him. He's the only man who ever treated me with respect. Made me feel you'll know.
He's dead.
Dundee, you're a credit to the bar.
All of them.
My boy, you're due for a great future with such a teacher.
Every day is different, sir.
We go to court next week. I think she has a good chance.
With you as her attorney, she can't lose.
Well, it'll be my last case. Fitting finale. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Jeremiah. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
I heard that remark about the bar. I'll have you know, Culhane, I never touch stimulants unless the occasion warrants it.